Today we'll discuss about the third unit, classification, basic concepts, decision tree inductions, Bayes classification methods, advanced methods, Bayesian belief network, classification by backpropagation, support vector machines. For this topic, the suggested reading is compare data mining concepts and techniques. So first we will discuss about the classification basic concepts. Classifications. So when we go for large data analysis and to get conclusions, we need to approach different methods. Classification is a form of data analysis that construct a model which will describe the important data classes. Such models are called classifiers. These classifiers will predict a categorical class label that will be discrete or nominal. The classifier classifies or construct a model based on the training set and the values in a classifying attributes and uses it in a classifying new data. Means we have two different data, one is training data, another one is testing data. Training data is nothing but is a known data. With the help of this known data, the classification model will be constructed, and with this model the new data can be classified. And numeric predictions is nothing but it predicts unknown or missing values. Classification can be applied in many applications. There are some few applications given here: credit and loan approval, medical diagnosis, fraud detections, web page categorizations. Credit and loan approval in the sense, when we issue credit card to people or when we approve a loan, it is very essential that we need to have a data analysis on the people, who are all genuine people or who are all risky people or safe people. So to have a kind of analysis, we need to go for classifications. Second, medical diagnosis. So when you do medical data analysis, we will come to conclusion that whether it is in beginning stage or serious stage. And then fraud detections. When you do any transaction, there will be a fraud transaction. To identify fraud detections, like in credit card or in bank transaction, this classification method will help you to find the fraud. And another one is web page categorizations. When we browse web, we may get a large number of web pages. So to find relevant web pages according to our desire, we need to follow some methods. Classification will help you to relevant page in the large number of web pages. Again, we have two different learning approaches. One is supervised learning, another one is unsupervised learning. The supervised learning, there we are using classification approach. In unsupervised learning, we are using clustering approach. In classification approach, we have a training data. The training data is nothing but it's a known data. With this known data, label can be constructed. By using this label, the new data can be classified. In case of unsupervised learning, the training data itself is unknown. So unknown data can be used to classify the new data. And here in the classification, we have two-step process. One is learning step, another one is classification step. In learning step, we are in training phases. Here, the model will be constructed which will describe a set of predetermined classes. There we have number of tuples. Each and every tuple or sample is assumed to belong to a predefined class as determined by the class label or attribute. This set of tuple used for model construction, that is nothing but the training set. The model is represented as the classification rule, decision tree and mathematical formula. So in this training phase, we have training set of data. With the help of this training data, the model will be constructed. The model itself will be represented as a classification rule or decision tree or mathematical formula. So this model will be used for categorize the unknown objects or unknown data. That will be given in the second process, that is the classification step. So here the model usage for classifying features or unknown objects. Then estimate accuracy of the model. That means the known label of test sample is compared with the classified results from the model. So by comparing this model, the accuracy will be calculated. The accuracy rate is the percentage of tested samples that are correctly classified by the model. Test set is nothing but it is an independent training set, otherwise it's a overfittings. If the accuracy is acceptable, use the model to classify new data. The test set is used to select model. It is called validation test. Here you can take a table which is given down: name, rank, years and tenure. So we have number of people in different rank, the different years and tenures. So there you can see in the rank assistant professor, professor and associate professor. Here you can see where we have yes. See, for assistant professor having year 7, having tenure yes, the status is yes. For professor also status is yes. For associate professor also the status is yes. Okay. So with this we will come to conclusion that when we have when the rank is assistant professor and the year is greater than 6, then we will get yes, status is yes. And one more condition, if he is the professor, then he will be, his status will be yes. With this we will try to construct a model. Okay. So this is the training data. By applying classification algorithm, we will construct a classifier model. There clearly the query is given: if rank equal to professor or year greater than 6, then tenure is yes. This is the rule. So it is a model. The model is represented as a rule. So the rule is, if rank equal to professor or year is greater than 6, then tenure equal to yes. So here you can see the rank must be given and then year must be given. Then tenure automatically it will be displayed. So here we have taken training data. The training data is a known data. So we know who are all having yes, who are all having no, what is the years, what is the rank, what is the name. So everything is known over here. With this training data, we will try to classify unknown data. Here testing data we have taken, it is unknown data. Okay. Here we have some tables. By giving this, with the help of this testing data, okay, here we will try to find the unseen data. With the same condition we have to give over here. See here, first one is name. Okay. Then rank must be given and year must be given. By giving a rank and year, automatically the tenor will be identified. Okay. So here we have given a 4. Okay. 4 in the sense greater than 4. So who is having greater than 4 rank will get yes. Okay. And moreover he must be a professor. So here you can testing data, you can check it out. Professor, uh, professor is given. Here also professor, George is a professor. So for him the status is yes. And another yes is given for Joseph, is assistant professor, but the year is greater than 4. Okay. So with these two conditions, the tenor will be yes. So the another example is given over here. It's a training data, and in training data we have attributes like name, age, income, and loan decisions. Okay. So with this, you can identify who are all having income low or high or medium. With these data, you can take loan decisions. Okay. So along with, we have taken age also one attribute. Okay. So person whether who is middle age or youth age or senior age. Okay. Whose income is low, high or medium. Based on these constraints, the loan decision will be taken whether he is in risky or safe. So here we can check who is risky, who is safe. So with this decision, it's a training data, it's a known data, will frame the rule like by applying classification algorithm. The classification rule can be generated like if age equal to attribute, we are taking age attribute. If age equal to youth, then loan decision will be risky. And another attribute, income. If income equal to high, then loan decision equal to safe. The another decision again is age. The age is middle age and income equal to low, then a loan decision is risky. So we categorized accordingly with the rules are generated by using classifications. Okay. So the classification rule, by generating these rules, the model is constructed. So next stage, by applying this rule, we can classify the unknown data. So here you can take the test data. It is unknown data. This is the unknown data. Okay. So these data can be applied in the classification rule. Okay. So new data here we are going to give okay, name, okay, middle age, low and loan decisions. So if the query is like that, then the person will be identified. He is a risky person. If he is a risky person, then the loan decision will be under discussions. So like that, to find the person to approve the loan, it is very important whether he is in safe or risky. To find the safe person or risky persons, okay, then we need to apply a classification rule. Okay. So here we combined both the diagram for our clarifications and made it very clear. So next one is decision tree induction algorithms. So decision tree induction algorithm, it is a learning decision tree from a class labeled training tuples. Decision tree, it is a flowchart like tree structure where we have three different nodes like internal node, branch node and leaf node. Internal node is nothing but is a non-leaf node, denotes a test on the attribute. and branch node represent an outcome of the test. And leaf node is a terminal node holds a class label. So internal node it denotes a test turn on the attribute. It is having one in and many out. The branch node is a test node. It is having output one in, one output. And the leaf node, there is no out, it is only one in. It's a terminal node. The topmost node is in the tree will be called as root node. Here, decision tree index, one sample tree structure is given over here. Here you can take age. Age is a root node. So under this, we have another nodes like internal node, the student, and credit rating. These are all the internal node. Here, it is defined as it is shown as rectangle box. If it is a terminal node, it will be shown as a circle. Here we have three different category: youth, middle age, and senior. So middle aged will be a terminal node. If he is a student, youth, we have two different status: no, yes. If he is no, then final will be no. If he is yes, the final node will be yes. So like that, we can categorize the same way the senior credit rating: fair and excellent. So if he is fair, no. If it is excellent, yes. Like that, we can categorize, we can identify the node, okay, we can terminate the node. So this is based on the buy computers. A person going to buy a computer, okay, so who will buy the computer? Okay. So based on the age they were categorized, and based on the age, based on the category, maybe student, maybe the credit rating. If he is a student, okay, there is a chance. You may have two different chances, maybe no or yes. He may purchase or he may not purchase. Okay. And same in the senior. Again, based on the credit rating, okay, the credit rating may be fair or excellent. So if the rating is fair, then he may not purchase. If the rating is excellent, definitely he may go for purchase. So like that, the concept of buys computer, based on the age, the tree can be constructed. With this tree, we can conclude that who will buy the computer. So what is the need to go for decision tree classifier? The construction of decision tree classifier does not require any domain knowledge. Simply if you have a knowledge, simple normal knowledge, no need to have a deep knowledge, you will be able to construct a decision tree. That is the meaning. The construction of a decision tree classifier does not require any domain knowledge or parameter setting, and therefore is appropriate for exploratory knowledge discovery. Second point, decision tree can handle multi-dimensional data. So multi-dimensional data, in a sense, we have a data in which we have multi-dimensions. Each and every dimension will have some concepts, some informations. This is a multi-dimensional data. They are representations of acquired knowledge in tree form, in inductive and generally easy to assimilate by humans. The learning and classification steps of decision tree induction are simple and fast. So easily you can construct a tree and easily you can classify the concept. By that, you quickly can conclude the concept. In general, decision tree classifiers have good accuracy. Decision tree induction algorithm, why we are going further, it is having a classification in many applications area such as medicine, manufacturing and production, financial analysis, astronomy and molecular biology. So in most of the applications, real-time applications, the decision tree concept we are applying to conclude the concept. Decision tree are the basis of several commercial rule injection systems. So here you can see the training set is given age. Okay. First the table will be given. Here we have number of attributes like age, income, student, credit rating and bias computer. Okay. So based on the age, okay, based on the income, based on the status, maybe student or senior citizens, based on the credit rating, his capability of buying computer status will be concluded. So this is a known training data set. With this known training data set, the table in this tree will be constructed. First age. This is also a model. The model will be constructed based on the known training set. Here, first you can take this first attribute age. So from this age, the second you can go for the age group, maybe less than 30, maybe in between 31 to 40, maybe greater than 40. So if he is less than 30, okay, and if he is a student, then you can refer the table. What is the possibilities? We have two different possibilities. So both are available. No is also available and yes also available. So we can have a branches like no and yes. So I'll repeat. We have training data set. From this training data set, we can take age as an attribute, and this age with this age attribute, we are going to construct tree structure. In the age, we have three different groups. One is less than 30, another one is 31 to 40, another one is greater than 40. Now, if you take less than 30, we have the person will be student. So, if he is a student and is coming under less than 30, there is two possibilities available in the by computer status. No is also available and yes also available. Yes is also available. And when you go for the in between range 31 to 40, we have yes only. You can check the table there where we have 31 to 40 in the range. There we have the status is yes. So it is terminated. Okay. And greater than 40, wherever you have greater than 40, okay, the credit rating will be either excellent or fair, and if he is excellent, then you have no. If he is a fair, then you have yes. Excellent no and excellent yes. Okay. So both are available. Excellent no and excellent yes, both are available based on the credit rating. So if the training set data is given, with this training data set, we will be able to construct a model. If the model is a tree structure, there we have attributes, and attributes we have some conditions. Okay, based on the conditions, the conclusion will be defined. Okay. This is the decision tree induction example. Now, the basic algorithm. Okay. So exactly what we are going to do in decision tree inductions. There we are applying a greedy algorithm concept. The tree is constructed in a top-down regressive divide and conquer manner. Divide and conquer manner. We have main domain. There we can divide, then we conclude, then we can divide, then we can conclude. Like that, we are using top-down regressive divide and conquer manner. At the start, all the training examples are at the root. Attributes are categorical. If continuous value, they are discretized in advance. Examples are partitioned recursively based on selected attributes. Another one, the test attributes are selected on the basis of heuristic statistical measures. This is the algorithm, is a grading algorithm. This concept in the book is given in the form of algorithm structure. So you can go through once over there also. Conditions for shopping partitioning. All the samples for a given node belong to the same class. When we have a class, if you define a node, the node belongs to, or with this node we have number of samples. There are no remaining attribute for further partitionings. The majority voting is employed for classifying the leaf, and there are no samples left. All the samples will be taken care, and wherever it is possible it will be partitioned, and by doing all the partitions we will be able to come to conclusion easily. The next one is brief review of entropy. Entropy is nothing but information theory. So when we have informations, it is very important we need to measure out uncertainty associated with the random variables. So there is some calculations for this. For discrete random variable, y taking m distinct values, for example, okay, the values will be y1, y2, y3, so and so ym, and it can be defined as like h of y equal to minus sigma I equal to 1 to m pi log of pi, where pi equal to p of y comma y equal to small yi. So this is the formula which can be used for measuring uncertainty associated with a random variable. Interpretations here: higher entropy and lower entropy. So if you have higher entropy, then higher uncertainty. So entropy we need to measure it. There if you find higher entropy, so obviously you will have higher uncertainty in the collected information. The same way when you have lower entropy, there you will have lower uncertainty. So we have some conditional entropy like h of y by x equal to x, p of x, and h of y by x equal to x. So here by using this formula you will be asked to calculate or measure the uncertainty associated with the random variables. So it is very important we need to remember these formulas. So next one, the attribute selection measures and information gains. So gain must be calculated. To calculate the gain, there are some parameters we look at down here. Select the attributes with the highest information gain. First, let pi be the probability that an attribute arbitrary tuple in D belongs to a class C estimated by class Ci, D by D. Then with this we will try to calculate the expected informations and information needed, then information gained. So for expected informations we have formula like info of D equal to minus sigma I equal to 1 to m pi log to pi. Information needed after using A to split D into V partitions. To classify D, again we have formula like info A. Here the A is nothing but here is attribute. So D equal to sigma I equal to 1 to P D by di by D into info of di. And same way we need to calculate information gain. Gain equal to gain of A equal to the A is nothing but here is an attribute. Okay. So it's nothing but when we have a training cell, we have number of attributes like age, rating. Okay. like that. For each and every attribute, we need to calculate the gain. So gain of A equal to info of D minus info of A of D. Okay. So with this gain, we will calculate the quality of the information. So here you can see class. We have two different classes. One is class P, another one is class N. Okay. The class P is nothing but Bice computer is yes status. If it is a P, it is yes. If it is no, if it is N, that is no. Okay. So with this we can calculate info D equal to I of 9 comma 5 equal to minus 9 by 14. It is a formula which we has already seen in the previous slides. So 9 by 14 log of 2 of 9 by 14 minus 5 by 14 log of 2 of 5 by 14 equal to the values. So this is the information value. So the meaning of 9 by 4 is nothing but here first we have taken 9 and 5. 9 is nothing but yes, number of yes, and 5 is nothing but number of no. This is a status. So when you look at the status, there you have 9 yeses and 5 no. So with this data, we'll calculate the information D. Okay. First we'll take yes, then we'll take no. So same both will be included in the formula. The 14 is nothing but the total number of status. If you count this by computer status, we have 14, along in which 9 will be yes and 5 will be no. Okay, so here we can calculate all these. And same way, for particular it is a total. Next we'll go for particular attribute, like if you take age, with respect to age, okay, so we can calculate D. Okay, the same concept here also we are going to use. Okay, so what do you mean by 5 by 14? It is given 5 by 14 2,3 means age less than 30 has 5 out of 14 samples with 2 yes and 3 no's. This is the meaning. So like that, for everything we have given over here. So for the clarity, I have texted everything over here itself. The same way we can go for income, student and credit rating. I told you info age must be calculated for the age attribute. Same way we have number of attributes like income, student, credit rating and by computers. For all the with respect to by computers, for all the attributes we need to calculate the gain. Okay. So the same formula going to be applied over here. Only thing the attribute will be different. So here the down you can see hence gain of age equal to formula given calculated. The same way we have to similarly we have to calculate gain of income, then gain of student, the gain of credit rating. So this is the information gain. Then computing information gain for continuous valued attributes. Let attribute A be a continuous valued attribute and must determine the best split point for A. Sort the value A in increasing order is a method, and typically the midpoint between each pair of adjacent values is considered as possible split point. For example, if we take A is the value and A plus I plus 1 is another value, A is the first value, AI plus 1 is the second value. So to find the midpoint, we should add both and should divide by 2. So we'll be able to get the midpoint between the value AI and AI plus 1. The point with the minimum expected information requirement for A is selected as the split point for A. Means D1 is a set of people. In D is satisfying, A less than or equal to split point, and D2 the set of people D satisfying A greater than split point. So D is the common. There we have D1 and D2. In D1 we have as conditions, and D2 we have another conditions. Like that, there will be a split. It is nothing but best split point for A. So the next one is gain ratio for attribute selections. Information gain measure is biased towards attribute with a large number of values. Here we have taken C4. Its approach C4.5 is an approach, a successor of ID3, and use gain ratio to overcome the problem. It is a normalization to overcome the problem element, normalization to information gain. So for a split we have a formula. Okay. So in this formula we need to apply the same data which we already seen. Okay. For the split for with respect to income. So here you can see example split information for income attribute D equal to 4 by 14 into log 2 4 by 14 minus 6 by 14 into log 2 6 by 14 minus 4 by 14 into log 2 4 by 14 equal to this value. These values are taken from the training table set. Okay. Same way status with respect to income, and gain ratio will be calculated for the income. This is the value is given. The attribute with the maximum gain ratio is selected as the splitting attribute. So we have attribute in a table, but with this respect to particular attribute, how the maximum gain ratio will be calculated, which will be calculated based on the splitting attribute. The next one is Gini index. If a data set D contains samples from n classes, Gini index is defined like this. See, for everywhere we have a formula. The formula we need to remember always. By using this formula, you will be asked to do some small problems, asked to solve some small problems. So Gini index is D equal to 1 minus sigma I equal to 1 to n P of 2, where J, where Pj is the relative frequency of class J in D. If data set D is a split on A into two subsets like D1 D2, which we already discussed, we have D in which we have two different splits like D1 and D2. D1 we have conditions, and D2 also we have another condition. The Gini index Gini D is defined as Gini attribute with respect to particular attribute D equal D1 by D Gini of D1 plus D2 by D into Gini of D2. So the reductions in impurity, again we have to calculate A Gini of A, Gini of A equal to Gini of D minus Gini of A of D. The attribute provide the smallest Gini split of D or the largest reductions in impurities. It is chosen to split the node. Need to enumerate all the possible splitting points for each attribute here. See, when we have a conclusion, so when you have a training set, with this training set, we need to construct a model. So with this model, the testing data can be classified. Now, if you take a training set, there will be number of attributes. So each and every attribute we have the we have to calculate the gain. So by calculating the gain, we'll see the quality of the attributes. So if there is any impurities, that impurity must be reduced, reductions must be done with the help of the formula. And how this Gini index will be calculated. Same way, for example, if you take the bicomputer table, there we have yes and no. So 9 yeses are available and 5 no's are available, which we already discussed. I'll repeat. um, the training set table is given for bicomputer. There, if you check the status of bicomputer, we have 5 yes and we have 9 yes and we have 5 no. So with this, by substituting these values over here, we will be able to calculate Gini index. Okay. The Gini of D equal to 1 minus the value 9 by 14. 14 is the total status, 9 is the number of years, whole square, minus 5 by 14. 5 is the number of nodes. 14 is the total status. So through which we will be able to calculate the Gini of D. Suppose the attribute income partitions D into 10 in D1, the low, medium, and 4 in D2, okay, then the calculation will be different. So all attributes are assumed continuous valued. May need other tools, example clustering, to get the possible split values. So it can be modified or categorical attributes. So even though we are doing classifications, we need to have clustering approach also to find the possible split values. So comparing attribute selection methods, there are 3 methods are there in general. Return good results, they are all information gain ratio, and Gini index. So information gain is nothing but biased towards multivalent attributes. It is a biased towards multivalent attribute. This is information gain. Gain ratio means tends to prefer unbalanced split in which one partition is much smaller than others. This is a gain ratio. Gini index is nothing but it's a bias to multivalent attribute. It has difficulty when number of classes is large. And another one is it tends to favor test that results in equal sized partitions and purity in both partitions. So these are the comparison of attribute selection measures. So they will be asking you, they will ask you to list the attribute selection measures. They are all information gain ratio, and Gini index. The other attribute selection measures, they are all child, CSIP, G statistics, MDL, and CORT. Child is a popular decision tree algorithm measured based on the x-square test for independence. CSIP is it performs better than InfoGain and Gini index in certain cases. And G statistics has a choose approximation to chi-square distributions. MDL is a minimum descriptions length principle. That is, the simplest solution is preferred. The best tree has one that requires the fewest number of bits to both one encode the tree and two encode the exception of the tree. Multivariate spread it's a partition based on a multiple variable combinations. The another method is CORT. It finds multivariate spread based on the linear comb of attributes. Now finally, which attribute selection method is the best? Most give good results, none is significantly superior than others. It's the conclusion. The overfitting and tree prunings. Overfitting in the sense an induced tree may overfit the trained data. Too many branches, some may reflect anomalies due to noise or outliers. Poor accuracy of the unseen samples. So sometimes we'll be getting a big training set data. There we have large number of branches. Most of the branches may have anomalies. Anomalies. This is due to noise and outliers. And there is a poor accuracies for unseen samples. So these are all the overfittings. There are two approaches to avoid overfitting. One is pre-pruning, and one is post-pruning. So before going for pruning, they need to have some pruning, some they need to have some work on the data. And the whole tree construction early to do not split a node if this would result in the goodness measures falling below a threshold. Difficult to choose appropriate threshold. The post pruning settlement is to remove branches from the fully grown tree and get a sequence of progressively pruned trees. It uses a set of data different from the training data to decide which is the best pruning tree. So at this level, we'll stop our lectures. So tomorrow we'll continue with the other topic, that is base classifications. Thank you.